meeting afterwards. The third time my father's sense of humour was evident almost got him into trouble with the local medical profession. A gentleman had called in and handed over a prescription. Without looking up, he retorted, "It looks like a hen has walked over the prescription. What a mess!" He then looked up and saw to his horror this was actually the particular GP standing in front of him. The GP looked him straight in the eye and said, "I see I'm going to have to write much more clearly in this district." But something happened to my father that changed his life dramatically. It was one Saturday night in 1974 when he was walking back to the house when he was set upon by two thugs. They knocked him to the ground and kicked him in the face and body. They knew he had the shop takings, and they hooted with laughter as they ran away with the brown package they had forced from his pocket. It was, in fact, a packet of soap that my father was taking round to a friend's house that night. The thieves had got nothing from the robbery, but they did inflict pain and suffering needlessly. That episode had a dramatic effect on my father's life. From that day, he didn't seem to have the same confidence to enjoy his games of bowls up at Cathcart Bowling Club. Although his sense of humour was still evident, he started to lose his short-term memory. We will never know whether that episode shortened his life, but sadly, he died in 1995 at the age of 87. His memory still lives on in those that knew him and benefited from his wise counsel. But it was the lure of that special smell, a mixture of perfume and surgical spirit, along with the rows of brightly coloured bottles with liquids and powders that fascinated me growing up. When these ingredients were miraculously turned into medicinal compounds, the fascination with chemistry and science grew. At a later stage, I was allowed to mix powders using a mortar and pestle, and then to formulate ointments on a large slab with a spatula. Yes, I was hooked. There was nothing else I wanted to do. I was going to be a pharmacist. And so I took my degree at Strathclyde University, and after a year at the Victoria Infirmary, followed by various managerial positions, I decided that building up relationships with patients and customers was the most satisfying part of my work, and I could only do that if I was permanently in one place. In 1982, I decided to buy my father's business, and it was renamed E.F. Ure Pharmacy. I had only just settled into the pharmacy when a chance meeting with a surveyor friend resulted in my finding out that 7 pharmacists had heard about the doctor's surgery moving up to the old police building. The pharmacists were all after premises just down the road from my pharmacy, and if they had succeeded in acquiring them, my business would have closed. I quickly phoned my lawyer and managed to secure the lease on the old fish shop opposite the proposed surgery site, and with a sigh of relief, I got ready to move my business down the road. 1 year later, when pharmacies could open anywhere they wished, I heard that another pharmacist was going to open about 50 yards from where I was situated. I decided to go and see the other pharmacist to explain that 2 pharmacies could not exist side by side, but he went ahead and opened anyway. That was when I decided to start my delivery service, and I also opened right through the lunch hour, Sundays and public holidays. We had set up a spy across the road who would phone us every time the other pharmacy opened outside the normal times, and either my father or myself went down and opened up our own premises. Every week I managed to find a story about my pharmacy, or indeed a family story, such as my parents' golden wedding anniversary, where they went round the world in order to focus attention on the business. 5 months later, with a notice in the other pharmacy's window saying, "Sale to make way for Christmas stock," they closed their doors. In a sense, it really helped me establish the business,